controversy that has been going on for a while, which started with Dan Hooker accusing Islam Makhachev of using an IV, and he said it is a cheating, and if Islam didn't cheat, he would have probably lost the fight. So now we have some reply from Islam's corner. So I have a tweet from Ali, which says any fighter under the UFC banner can take 2 to 3 liters of IV as long as it's done by a nurse or a professional. And he also says next week he is going to expose everyone, and Islam is the number 1 pound for pound, which he is not actually, he is number 2 pound for pound. And then Islam also tweeted saying you must be held accountable for such accusations. So this thing I agree with. If Dan Hooker is putting false accusations, then he must be held accountable for those. But let's take a look at this claim of any fighter can take 2 to 3 liters of IV as long as it's done by a nurse. So here I have the IV infusion list, which says that IV infusions are prohibited in the UFC. All athletes are subject to the UFC prohibited list, which incorporates the WADA prohibited list. So under the IV rules, IV infusions are prohibited at all times, including those used for rehydration as described below. So let's see what's there below. So what is this IV rule? All IV infusions and or injections of more than 100 ml, which is 6.8 tablespoons per 12-hour period, are prohibited at all times. That's it. Both in and out of competition. So that's it. It says that all infusions and injections of more than 100 ml, just 100 ml, are prohibited in a 12-hour window, 12-hour period. And here this guy is claiming that anybody can take 2 to 3 liters. That's a lot. Here it just says 100 ml. So 100 ml is like 1/20th of what this guy is claiming, Ali. He's saying 2 to 3 liters. Any fighter can take 2 to 3 liters of IV, which is a lot. The UFC rules and the USADA rules just allow for 100 ml. So this guy is saying 2.3, which is a lot. So if actually Islam has taken 2 to 3 liters, or all these Ali, Abdelaziz fighters, the Dagestani guys, if these guys are taking 2 to 3 liters, then it's a lot and it breaks the IV rule. So in that case, I think Islam might be suspended. So these are the UFC rules and USADA, but I read that Australia has its own separate rules which say that you cannot even take this 100 ml. Even this is not allowed. So you cannot take even 100 ml. So this is Australian rule. So this fight was in Australia. So now we are at an interesting place where the UFC rules, the USADA rules say that you can take 100 ml in a 12-hour period, but the Australian rules where the fight, this UFC 284 took place, they say that you cannot even take 100 ml. So I'm not sure. Even so, either of 3 things can happen, or 4 things can happen. Either Islam did not take any IV, not even 100 ml, or he took IV which was within this limit. So within this limit means it is legal by the UFC and as per USADA norms, but it's not legal as per Australian rules. The third case is he took more than 100 ml and less than this. So in that case, it's a violation of both the rules, the USADA rules and the Australian rules. And the last one is like he took way more than this. So in that case, Islam will probably be suspended for a while if that is true. My biggest concern is, even if suppose Islam took IV which is like 100 ml, which is within the prescribed norms of the USADA list, but the Australian government might say that okay, but this is not allowed, even 100 ml is a lot, so we are not allowing even that. So then what will the UFC do? What will the USADA do? Because Islam and Ali can counter it by saying, look, we are following the rules of the UFC, we are not bound by the rules of Australian government or whatever, we are following the USADA rules. So it's an interesting thing. I think if this is the case that he has taken but not 2-3 liters, instead like close to 50, 60, 70, 80 ml, then in that case, even if USADA thinks okay, this is violating the Australian government norms, they might cut his suspension short. Instead of 1 year, he might get like 6 months or 3 months, which is not much for a fighter and who's also a champion, because these guys only fight like twice a year at max. So Islam is not going to fight for the next 4-5 months. In that case, even if the USADA bans him for like 4 months or 3 months or 6 months, even he'll be fine. But if he really took 2-3 liters like Ali claims, and he says that, so first of all, this post is actually wrong. He claims like any fighter can use 2 to 3 liters, which is a lot. It's not that. It's just 100 ml, not 2 liters or 3 liters. So yeah, Ali deleted this post after posting. I think he realized his mistake, or people actually started commenting and told him that it is wrong. So that is why he deleted this post. But let's see, like people have the screenshot. I have this screenshot. Let's see what people do. Let's see what USADA does. If Ali is really giving 2 to 3 liters of IV to his clients, then all of them need to be checked, and Ali himself should be questioned for this. That's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.